My name is Arin Lindauer, and you're listening to A Life Without Struggle. I'm a wife, a mother of 2 wonderful children, a 2-time best-selling author, and a highly driven and successful entrepreneur. In my 17-plus year career as a mindset and health expert, I know what holds women back from a life you only dream about. Whether you're a CEO, a businesswoman, or executive, I started this podcast because I have been where you are, and I know you want and deserve more out of your life. I believe women are limitless. We just get lost along the way. The process to get you there is the topic and purpose of this podcast. When you understand what you want, you can truly step into a life without struggle. Welcome, and I'm so thankful you're here. Welcome back to another episode of Life Without Struggle. My name is Arin Lindauer, and today we're going to dig into the real problem is weight maintenance. So what do I mean by this? Well, the real problem is you lost all the weight, but can you keep this weight off? And I see this so many times when women are going at this, alone or, trying the latest, greatest fad diet or, this workout plan or whatever, is they'll get the ball going. Maybe they'll lose a significant amount of weight, but then they put it right back on. And I can't tell you how frustrating it is to see that for someone, because what I understand is they haven't fully changed who they are. And okay, well, what is this, and why would we want to do that? And so I think consciously none of us want to do that, but unconsciously we haven't made the shifts, we haven't made the changes that we actually need to make in order to become this woman that we really truly are. And so, okay, you go down this journey, you're researching different things, and you're finally getting to a point where you're so uncomfortable that you've got to do something. And see, this is the camp that I see most women get in, is they're just so uncomfortable in their own body. They refuse to buy another pant size, for example, is one that I hear so often. And it's like, Arin, I can't buy another size, but my pants are just so uncomfortable. I'm miserable all day long. And, I got to do something. But we've been here before. Or I'll have women tell me, well, I have every size. Like, these are my fat jeans. These are my skinny jeans. And they tell me all these things. And it's like they have all this different array of clothing that fits whatever time and space that we're in. And so, okay, what's the problem? The problem is we haven't really addressed the root of why you even wanted to lose the weight in the first place. And for so many women, they're just not motivated by their goal. Well, why is that? Well, I'm here to tell you most women are leaving a good 10, 15 pounds on the scale that, yeah, it isn't motivating to get to this spot, because when we get to this spot, it's like, I still don't love exactly how I look, or I thought I'd be more toned, or I thought clothes would fit better, and I still don't feel comfortable at the pool and in my bathing suit. And so my point and purpose with this is I want to encourage women to set the real goal. Set the real goal that really fires you up, kind of scares you just a little bit, and you don't know if it's exactly possible. That's what's going to motivate us when we start seeing the scale move. And then can you imagine the scale moving into a new number that you've never ever seen, that was completely uncharted territory? Maybe you weren't even this weight in high school, right? Like that's where so many women have a very skewed perspective on what is actually healthy. I went on a rampage of saying you've got to get below 30% body fat. And I'm here to tell you that is just like step one. And for most women and what I know they want to look like and how they want to feel on a daily basis, are you going to feel better at 30% body fat? Of course you're going to feel better. But there's a whole nother world that you haven't even experienced. And so this is where I want to share with you, because a lot of women have never even understood what it feels like when you have so much energy, what it feels like to be able to go and do the crazy hike that, somebody ropes you into, or to go run the different, obstacle race and do it with quote unquote, not, I don't want to say ease, but like you did it and it was pretty cool and you felt really confident in it. I can't share with you if you haven't, or you don't know what it feels like if you haven't been there and you walked into a really, really important meeting and that you looked really, really good. That everybody was like, dang, what is she doing? Right? You don't know what it feels like when you can shop in every single store and everything in that store actually fits. And that's where I want to share these statements with you, because these are things that are possible for all women, but you've got to take on this belief. You've got to borrow my belief till it becomes yours. And so while yes, I want you to get under 30% body fat because that significantly reduces your risk for any disease, but that's just the starting point. And for most women and their desired look, they're going to want to get somewhere in that 25%. And then for a woman that you're like, ooh, she looks really, really good. She is low 20s and then on into the teens. And so that is possible. It is possible for a 40-year-old, a 50-year-old, a 60-year-old. Like, I don't care how old you are. It is actually possible if you put together the right program. The problem is we never get to weight maintenance because we're always trying to lose weight. But can you imagine losing all the weight, feeling so good in your skin, and like this is just your normal life? Like, can you think of how much time and energy you spend thinking about losing weight today? Like, if we were actually to go through your beautiful noggin and understand all the times that you cut yourself down, all the times you wish you were, already at your goal, how many times you're obsessing, thinking about food, how many times you've, had to work through wanting this, wanting that, making a meal plan, counting your calories, think about how much time that actually does take up in your head. And I'm here to tell you it's worth the time and effort, but it needs to have a stopping point where this is just who you are now. And so that is truly where I want women to get, is to be in this space of this is just who I am. That I operate on an entirely different frequency, but it's going to require change. And this is where it can get challenging. It's challenging to do this by yourself. It's challenging to do this without having someone who has navigated these things, who can help you understand, hey, I know you've had a stressful day, but that doesn't mean we go and eat whatever. Or I know you've had a stressful day. That doesn't mean we go and have, chips and salsa and margaritas, right? Because of course that sounds great, but it's not going to solve or change the stress. Also, we have to understand what is stress. Some stress is really good. It's a good thing that helps, get us through different situations. And in other times, it absolutely doesn't serve you. You may have, all the things falling down in your sphere of influence, and like, it just feels like you can't win. But the stress is yours. You are the one that's creating the intensity, how you feel it. And this is where it takes going super, super deep inward to understanding like, okay, what can I do to, I'm not going to discount that, mom's in the hospital, you got financial burdens going on, you got work stress, you got kiddo stress, spouse stress, whatever. Like, those are all real, but it's how we handle it and how we perceive it and how we choose to take it on. I've had definite moments where I feel the stress. And for me, heat has always served me. And it's been something that has been very, very helpful to pull myself down versus going and having, a glass of wine. And if I was being completely genuine, it's not one glass of wine, right? Like, it's multiple. And so this is where I want to speak to the woman who knows she's got to lose this weight. but I want to challenge you to get into weight maintenance. And how long can you stay in that weight maintenance? Because it should be for the rest of your life. So I'm here to tell you that this is something you don't have to go at alone. And for all the women who want to, beat the pavement and figure everything out, trying to piece this, that, and that off of the internet, that you're never going to get into weight maintenance. You're going to constantly be spinning your wheels trying to figure this all out, when in reality, you could just hire an expert. Yes, it is going to cost something from a financial standpoint, but how much time are you spending? Add up that cost. How many things have you purchased over the years? I mean, when I ask women, it is mind-blowing how many different programs, this, that, the other, did it work? Did it not work? What'd you get out of it, right? And of course, we're always going to learn something, but take the time and effort to actually hire a coach who is going to dig a little bit deeper than counting your macros. Oh my gosh, if I have one more person ask me, so do you help me count my macros? Girl, there's an app for that. No. And yes, we can count macros, but that's not what's going to get you into weight maintenance, because weight maintenance is really where it's at. This is where we have to understand the psychology, all of the experiences, the traumas, all the things that have held you back from ever just staying in this space. And it's a lot more than just a meal plan and cool workouts. So if you're sitting on the fence as to whether or not you need a coach, my expert advice is hire the coach. They're going to get you there 10 times faster and with a lot less bumps. And there's so much more life to live outside of thinking about weight loss. All right, let me know if I can be your coach.